Well, I will start with saying I think Canada's failing Indigenous women, and I think everybody witnesses that, and it's continually happening as we see more of our sisters going missing, more of our mothers, our aunties, all going missing and murdered. Kwe Juliana Dijnikas Nadishna Belnin, Kitaganzi Bina Donjaba, Nishna Shijpejik Pibones. Hi, my name is Julianne Duman. I'm from KZ. I'm a Nishnabekwe and I'm 21 years old.
So, Kwe, my name is Christina Kamana. I'm from the Kitagan First Nation. I'm Nishnabekwe, and I'm 52 years old. A grandmother, mother, sister.
My name is Kristen Tanasco. I'm from Kitagan, Quebec. I'm in school at Dawson College right now, and I'm 23 years old.
For myself, I listen to the radio, I look on the internet to get the daily news, any information that I get, because now everything's electronic. We have access to the offices. Not all the community is on the internet, but I do know they're on social media. Myself, I'm not, but I do, like I said, watch the news.
I think like the only media platform that talks about it really is like APTN. Out of like, you know, things that are on TV, regular news don't really cover it that much. At least like I don't see it ever. Yeah, you mostly see it from people sharing it, families, and then like people. I know like as Native people, we always like, you see one of those things and then like everyone you know is sharing like the post of the girl's face and like information about that. It's always like us raising awareness rather than the news.
It's daily that I come across information on missing and murdered Indigenous women. I think it's because of the community I'm with online. Like I'm really connected with a lot of Indigenous people, and we make sure that we spread out the information as much as we can in hopes to find the missing women and just spread information to the general public.
Women have rallied together, and men and women in their communities, to try to get the topic out there. I don't find when an Indigenous woman goes missing in the community or is murdered, the media picks up on it right away.
It depends on who's talking about it. I mean, the news, if they do decide to cover it, which is rare, but if they do, it's very like, you know, just like cut and dry. Like not even, I don't know, they don't even go in that much detail. It's just kind of like, here's what happened, here's your name, and then that's it. It's the social media accounts, it's people themselves like raising awareness about it that get the work done and like actually raise awareness about it.
But for Indigenous women, I find there's this bias that where we try and portray them as deviant, whether that be through being a sex worker. A lot of the times in the news, they always say downtown, you know, Vancouver, they went missing and they're in the sex work business.
The first reaction they get is, well, the person's not gone missing, they must have ran away, or they're on a drunk, or they're gone with their boyfriend, or they're going to come back.
There's this very negative portrayal of Indigenous women when they go missing or murdered, and in a kind of makes them blameworthy about the situation, which I believe the media has a big hand on why the numbers are so outrageous and why the public doesn't care as much about missing and murdered Indigenous women.
The one I remember is because it happened in Montreal. Like she was visiting here, Lynn Iserhoff, she went missing for a while. And again, there was like no coverage on that. Literally, it was like her family came to Montreal and like did the investigation themselves, and like got like, you know, I don't know if you remember that. That was like a couple of years ago. Like everyone on Facebook and like social media was just sharing her pictures, saying like she was last seen in Montreal, and then we ended up finding her, and it was literally because like the cops didn't, like they did stuff, but they didn't want to. They didn't even want to like investigate because they didn't believe she was missing or like taken or anything. They kind of just thought like she's in Montreal, like sort of like she's, I don't know, she's a res girl coming to Montreal, like she's probably just out having fun, partying and like going to see friends. But it completely turned out like
I think it's almost close to 10 years now. We have two missing girls in the community, Maisie and Shannon. And yeah, it's a hard topic to talk about, but it's also, I was very young when they went missing, and it was almost like I couldn't really believe it. I was just waiting for one day for them to show up. Like, a lot of, Maisie in particular was at our school, and when we went on the bus, like, I remember seeing her every day. So the fact that there was this, idea going around that she's missing and we don't know if she's coming back, it was hard for me to even understand the situation because it never happened in the community.
When it was first reported, it was like she was a runaway. Now, she had no reason, this girl, to run away. She had no restrictions that would make her leave home and not call home. From my discussions with the family members, because I did discuss it with her grandmother, I spoke to her mom, I spoke to some of her friends. When I seen this young girl, she didn't appear to me that it would be somebody that want to just go missing and not come back. She always seemed to stay in contact with her family members.
But also, I must say, the older I got, the more I realized, like, why wasn't our community, like, the day that we realized they were missing, all going out and trying to find these girls? But it was because there was this perception that they were deviant, I'll bring up that word again, as if that they were partiers, they were known to go out and get into some bad experiences with older people.
This young woman, one of them, that lived in the community directly, always called her grandmother to let her know where she was, and she did not call. It was not like her. It's totally out of character.
There was this, like, verbatim going around in the community as if it was like normal behavior for them to go missing, but the families didn't agree with it. So I remember there was even this idea that the police were like, give it a day, they'll show up, they're partying, they're doing something, and this is crucial time.
That's a parent's worst nightmare. Not to hear from your child within 24 hours, then it becomes 48 hours. I think the not knowing what's going on or what's happening, no news, no updates, the panic mode sets in. I think everybody, and a lot of the people that I know or that I associate with, took a concerted effort to take a walk. We took rides, we passed those posters around to everybody and anybody that we knew.
And I think the idea that we associate Indigenous women and girls with being deviant, with going out to party, with making it seem that it's okay to give it a few days and wait for them to come. Those few days could be like life or death. It could be the chance of finding them and not. And so now here we are, like, close to 10 years and the girls are still missing. So I think that's important that we realize what kind of words we're attaching with Indigenous women, and why do we think that the media portrays them in this way, and even that it makes our community members even think of our girls in that way.
That's the fear that everybody has. Is if it could happen to these two abled, young, physically fit girls, it could happen anywhere, and we're not exempt from that.
So it's kind of hard to solve this systemic problem in Canada when it's not an Indian problem, it's a Canada problem. And I don't think Canada is doing anything to solve the problem, even though they're saying it in the public media, and I don't think they care about doing it because that's a way that they hold their power.